Hello and welcome back to the iFox Juice podcast. I'm your host Juice, and I'm here with my co-host as always, Reen. What's happening, Reen?
Nothing much, man. How's it going?
It's going all right. Crazy day, but that's
Yeah.
neither here. Yeah, that's neither here nor there. We don't really have many fights to talk about because there's no UFC this weekend, but we're just kind of gonna fuck about and talk about the fights last week, some new matchups, and our news story as usual. So.
Okay.
We should get into it. Yeah, let's get into our recap. And last week's event was UFC Rochester, main evented by Kevin Lee and Rafael Dos Anjos. We covered a few of the fights. I was excited for Ladd and Eubanks, Aspen Ladd and Sijara Eubanks. And, man, my excitement was, well, I kind of wanted to shit on it. That's the main reason I wanted to talk about. But it turned out to be a pretty excellent fight. It was way better than the first one. What did you think about the fight, Reen?
It really was. And damn, dude, she took her to decision again. It's crazy, man. They fought again, took her to decision again, and this is only like Ladd's second fight that she's ever gone the distance. She's finished all the rest of her fights. So she had a tough fight.
Yeah, and from what I remember in the first fight, it seemed like she dominated from bell to bell. And obviously she had a lot more resistance in this one, and she seemed to get tired at one point. I mean, it seems like there was chinks in the armor, clearly. But the one thing I was very impressed with her, and you know how much shit I've talked about her, but I was very impressed with her because she shows that she had heart, man. She has a lot of heart, and especially a girl like Eubanks, she hits pretty hard, and she took it, and she kept coming.
Right? Yeah, because she was eating those shots. Big time, man. I'm like, oh god damn, is she gonna get knocked out? Because like she was hitting her pretty fucking hard.
You could tell right away when Eubanks came into that third round, I was like, fuck it, we're fighting. You know, we ain't no more fucking around now.
Oh yeah, she got in her face at one point too. I was like, damn. But Aspen Ladd, she's just so like chill. She's just like, okay. She's like a Holly Holmes. She's just super chill, laid back. So.
Well, she did get kind of emotional at the end. I mean, she almost cried, and which I'm not gonna fault her for. I mean, that was a hell of a fight, and I think it's one of those moments where you realize that you even surprise yourself. Like, shit, I didn't know I had that in me. You get kind of overwhelmed.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm not sure what's gonna happen after this for her. She moved up from like number 6 to number 4, so you know. Good for her. Congratulations. She's moving up the ranks in the bantamweight division. But I saw that she was calling out Yana Kunitskaya, so I think that's going backwards for her. I mean, why take that fight? Maybe just look for somebody ahead, or maybe she needs another good fight before she takes on like the top 3 contenders, the top 3 fighters.
I want to say that it's probably some youth playing in large part here because I think she's, and I don't know, she didn't say this as much, but like I said, she was kind of emotional after the fight, so she may be kind of upset, kind of disappointed, probably because she thought she was going to finish her or take an easy decision. So she probably wants that, like, I need another fight, like I need to get over it type thing. I'm just speculating here, but because I guess it makes no sense to call out Holly Holmes since she's the one that ended up getting the title shot. But I mean, remember, that was the fight that was supposed to take place a few weeks ago. This fight was never supposed to happen.
Yeah, and I tweeted out like, oh, so who's happy that fight didn't go through? Because she would have got pieced up. I think it would have been a really tough out for her.
I'm still not sure. You know what? I do like Holly Holm. I know we kind of have a difference of opinion here, but I'm still not exactly sure that she knows how to wrestle.
Yeah? Even with her beating Megan the way she did?
Yeah, because, and we're going to talk about her in a second. Hold on that. But it's one thing to learn some decent wrestling. It's another thing to actually be able to defend, to be able to counter throws, and you know what I mean? It's not just like, it's like people who can't strike. It's still harder to dodge punches, to have defense, Because you could be a shitty striker and you could still look at Khabib. He has terrible defense, but he knows how to throw a good jab. He knows how to throw a kick, and then that's kind of part of his defense. I think that's kind of the same thing with Holly. She's got the striking down, but as far as the wrestling, like, hey, can you get a good double leg? Can you get maybe a knee tap or like a clinch throw? And this is what you'll need to kind of round you out a little bit.
Well, hopefully that's what they did because I mean she has her striking down. She's a boxer, so
Yeah.
that just makes sense. Like that's all you do is work on your wrestling and BJJ. That's it. We don't have to mess around with your striking. You already got that. Something that I wish they did with Megan Anderson.
Okay, so we're going a little bit out of order here, but no, let's not ruin a good segue. I mean, we can't not talk about it. I mean, I picked Felicia Spencer almost begrudgingly last week. Like, I like Megan, I really do. I like Megan. I followed her very early on, and I think she's talented, but I couldn't get that image of Holly Holm out wrestling her out of my head. And I think she is. I wouldn't say a better fighter because we saw who the better fighter was, but she's definitely a more entertaining fighter than Felicia. Felicia's not really like kind of style I like, but I said like she's dogged. She's tough and gritty, and I just don't think those. Holly Holm is not tough and gritty, a tough and gritty wrestler that way. She just did it with very basic fundamentals, and Felicia is like, man, whether she gets you with a good takedown or she just bulldogs you to the ground, she's gonna get it, and she fucks girls up. Girls as big as Megan, so I didn't think that it was gonna be much of a fight for her.
I picked Megan Anderson because I expected more from her, and just the fact that she came into the UFC to fight Chris. We were supposed to see this mega fight. She needed more time, because Chris has all these talents. She needed more time to work on all her holes in her game. It doesn't look like she's ever done that. And it's been how long? It's been 2 or 3 years.
It actually kind of upsets me because I've always liked James Krause. I liked him as a fighter, even in this tough days. And I always thought he was a really good coach. I seen the improvements he was making with Megan since I basically followed her from the beginning, and I seen her when she made her transition over there to his gym. And I know James Krause is a smart guy. I don't know how I don't know if it's like they teach her, and she just doesn't get it, or maybe she is a good wrestler, but just something happens when she fights that she like gets nervous and she just can't pull it off. But it really does seem like she's got nothing there. It's like Paul Daly levels of wrestling, honestly.
It's nuts to me, man. Like, I mean, she didn't learn from the Holly Holm fight. I just don't get it. So it just upsets me because we were supposed to have this fight with her. She called out Chris Cyborg. They were supposed to be the faces of featherweight. The featherweight division, and it just seems like without that dance partner, like it might just go away soon. Hopefully, Felicia Spencer will have an excellent performance with Chris. I think it's going to be a tough one, but hopefully she performs and the division stays a little bit longer and they build it up. But I don't know, man. It just makes me sad. I don't want it to go away. I guess from what you heard, it might go away in like 2 years or so, because
Uh,
that's when Chris is thinking about retiring.
Well, to be clear, I didn't hear anything. I mentioned to you off air that I was hearing a few other MMA podcasts and people were speculating about how long will featherweight last, just as a general broad question. And it seemed like people were of the opinion that, well, when Chris goes, the division goes. And I'm not necessarily of that opinion because I think PFL opening 155 shows that there are girls that can make the weight. If you can make 155, you can make 145. Because aside from Kayla Harrison, I don't know many girls that are naturally that big. Even Felicia Spencer fought at 155. I mean, she looked kind of chunky, but I mean, she did it. So it's like I know a girl like Felicia can go up. That shows that there's space for the big girls, or for girls to not cut weight. So I don't think that's necessarily the case, but it's just funny what you were saying with Megan. It's like it almost seems like how I picked Felicia begrudgingly because I'm like I just can't get over the wrestling. It seemed like you picked Megan begrudgingly, kind of like without her, who knows what's gonna happen to the division, kind of thing. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Yeah. And I just expected her to improve. You know what I mean? And it doesn't look like she's done that at all. I mean, we had that freak fight with Kat Zingano.
Yeah, that's
She had that.
That's the real.
That's her only fucking win, man. How embarrassing.
That's the really. Yeah, that's yeah. There's no other way to put it. Just embarrassing, you know. Like, I mean, thank God she didn't have like a Jessica I type victory screech after that win. You know, I mean, a win's a win, and she at least said, "Oh, well, we're running back if she wants to." But that said nothing about Kat. That said nothing about her. And yeah, that did count as a win. But I mean, I think in most people's eyes, she's 0-2 in the UFC, and it came against Holly Holm. We could be like, well, she's a former champion and a good fighter, and then Felicia Spencer, who is a good fighter, but nobody knows. So I don't know what's gonna happen with her.
Yeah, and then Laura Sanko talking her up, before the
Well,
fight.
they're
You know,
homegirls.
yeah, homegirls too. She's probably like, "Fuck, man, I rolled with you. What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know where she got her purple belt from, but maybe it is the weight cut because she was
Or
dropping from 170 to 145.
or like I said too, you know, I'm just getting the feeling that it may be like stage fright. Like she is probably pretty decent on the floor, but something happens when she fights. Like, oh shit, I wasn't supposed to get taken down. You know, especially the way people train is like, all right, don't get taken down, don't get training in jiu-jitsu class for an hour is one thing, but once you're in um once you're in camp, you're all right, don't get taken down. Okay, counter this, counter that, you know, but I think she may be in her own head. It may be a mental thing, not necessarily a skills or a physical thing, but we'll never know until she gets there. And then, because I don't want to say that James Krause is the problem, because James Krause is a well-rounded fighter and he seems like a good coach, but something just happens to her.
Maybe she should just stop the extra activities. I think Fight Pass uses her too, right? On some of the not the commentary, but
Invicta, Invicta's
yeah,
done the like she's done the post-fight interviews in the
things
cage.
like that. Yeah, maybe she should just stop doing that and just concentrate on being in the gym daily.
Well, that's the thing is that I remember having these conversations with a friend before of he had a lot of hope in Megan just for the fact that she's a full-time fighter. She doesn't have a second job, which is something that a lot of women have. Especially, you know, she's been a full time fighter even in her Invicta time. Nobody in Invicta has, you know, is a full time fighter, and she was, and she did improve. She showed improvement, but I mean, at this level, it's like, all right, she should be UFC ready, and it kind of seems like she isn't. That's what's really fucked up about it. Is like
Yeah,
she doesn't really have excuses, and for some reason, she just can't get over it. I don't know.
like her breaking down fights, that's fun, I guess, for her and Laura, but maybe start breaking down your own and figuring it out. Because
Yeah,
she's not gonna be in the UFC that long. That just sucks, man.
the
I mean,
one thing that I did find weird was after the fight, after she got choked out, I mean, good thing she wasn't a bad sport. She wasn't, you know, mad or pissy. She didn't pull like a Ronda, but she seemed like very happy. Like when she was hugging Felicia, it was kind of like, oh, good job, good job. Like she didn't care at all,
well,
and that kind of worried me. I'm like,
what can you do?
shouldn't you be really really upset that you're basically 0-2 in the UFC?
Yeah, but what can you do? Your friend's sitting there, you got choked out, you got humbled. Yeah, I mean, good for her for doing that and having a good attitude. I was waiting for her to tweet out something too, right after the fight or whatever, but it took her like a couple days. So she probably like kicked herself in the ass and then tweeted something out.
Speaking of getting humbled, though, fucking Nick Lance, man.
The fuck, man. I'm sorry for laughing. It was just, it didn't make sense for them to fight in the first place again. So watching this, I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Is this a clinic? Is this a sparring session? And again, Charles Oliveira, I think, hasn't seen like a third round since what, 2016? So
Yep.
he's finished like all his fights, like first or the second round.
I mean, he's usually been one of those guys of, you know, kill or be killed. But in this fight, I mean, this was a third round. Yeah, third round TKO, or was it second round?
No, second round. It was
Oh, second
another.
round. Oh, it was
Yeah,
the end of the second. That's probably why. But I mean, I guess that shows what an ass whooping it was. It seems like he's been kicking his ass for 15 minutes straight. You know, these fights have never been close. I think in the second fight, Lentz took him down and controlled him for like 2 minutes. But I mean, do you ever really control Oliveira? Even Frankie Edgar couldn't really control him. Like he did damage, he got points, but he wasn't like, oh shit, like he's gonna get fucked up on the floor if he doesn't move. Like nobody outdoes Oliveira on the ground and on the feet. I mean, I thought Lentz could have a chance because he just has shown power from time to time, but Oliveira's just getting better and better. He had no chance on the feet either, but
Mm-mm.
that counter, man, that's one of the prettiest counters I've seen in a while. Just fundamental Muay Thai 101. He goes with a lazy, sloppy leg kick and he kind of caught it and just threw that right hand and clocked his ass.
I can't believe he finished him like that. It's so amazing, man. Just knocked him out. His striking is so underrated.
I thought
So
he would have gone. I thought he would have gone for a sub. As soon as he dropped him, like, oh, he's gonna go for a rear naked or something. But he knew he was hurt. He's like, fuck him, and just kept hitting him.
yeah, just shows some ground and pound. So good work. That moved his ranking position from 15 to 11. So hopefully he'll get like a top 10 fighter soon, like an actual top 10, top 5 opponent, so he can go for that title run. But we'll see, man. Lightweight is it's so weird right now. There's too much congestion going on, at the top.
Before we get into the main event, I wanted to touch on two things that we didn't talk about last week. We did want to talk about Vicente Luque last week, but his fight got pulled, and it was supposed to be Neil. Well, his opponent got pulled, Neil Magny, and he ended up fighting Derek Krantz, who I'd forgotten. I had seen a fight. I believe Ben Duffy. He covered that fight live. I think I was DMing him that night, and I've seen that dude that he had knocked out at LFA. He's a pretty good fighter. Then I saw, but I'm like, Luque something else. Did you see this fight, Reen? The
Yeah,
finish.
yeah. He punched himself out. It seemed like he started off too fast,
Well,
especially
I
in
mean,
the vet.
Luke.
I guess you gotta take your chance.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get in a fight. If you're gonna try and out technique Luque in your first UFC fight, good luck.
Yeah. So I'm so damn, dude. It was crazy because he did hurt him. He did hurt Luque. So props to that guy. I think Luque even like gave him a prop too. Like, yeah, good job for like hitting me.
Yeah, I think I think Alexander Hernandez. I know a lot of people like to shit on him, especially after losing at Cowboy, but I think he showed something really good when he fought Dariush. He knocked him out in the first round, and he came out and just took it to him. I think he showed like, hey, if you just go out and get in a fight, you got a pretty good shot of winning this. That's
Hopefully
what he.
he'll the way that he performed, like hopefully they'll keep him around, and because I don't know if he just signed on for this fight or what, but shit.
Well, no, they brought him in last minute, and he's an LFA guy. He'll get another fight. He'll be good. Yeah, but I mean, he's kind of a brawler. He's an exciting dude, but I mean, taking Luke in your first fight,
Yeah.
sorry, bud. And then another guy that made his UFC debut, Michel Pereira. There was a lot of talk of him because I guess Caposa made him famous with gifs of flying, rolling thunder kicks and somersaulting into guard and doing just all kinds of nonsensical shit. But the way he knocked out Danny Roberts, Jesus Christ, man.
Dude, that was so fun to watch. It was quick. I actually started watching the Rochester card with him.
Yeah,
And when he walked out, he was getting, just checked out or whatever. He was crying. He was like so emotional. I'm like, dude, like this is gonna be bad for him. Like, what's going on here? So when I was watching it, I'm like, holy shit, am I watching a video game? I dropped my beer. I dropped my beer watching this fight because I'm like, what the fuck? It was so amazing to watch, man. I've never seen anything like that before. Ever.
yeah. He fights like he's got springs in his feet.
Right? Like it's so crazy. So he's a character, man. I don't know. I want to watch him again. Like, when is he gonna fight again?
And he took like no damage in that fight. He could fight. He could fight next week on the next card if he wants to. I'm sure he's
Right?
probably waiting on someone to pull out.
I think he did do one of those rolling thunder kicks. And this one
I know
too.
he did kind of like a Showtime Superman punch type thing. I know he did that, but yeah, I mean, I mean, and he said that like I'm not just a fighter, I'm an entertainer. I mean, and that's why I wasn't high on him. I'm like, well, yeah, you just do a bunch of crazy shit. Like I've seen MVP, look what happened to him. And obviously, this is this is early in his career. Who knows what's gonna happen to him? But I was like, that doesn't necessarily mean he's all that skilled. But I mean, Danny Roberts is a tough dude, man. Even Mike Perry.
Yeah.
Mike Perry had a good fight with him. He was beating him, but it took him up until the end of the third round to knock him out. And this dude did it in a couple minutes.
He's like a Johnny Walker. Entertaining, man. Crazy. Yeah, I can't wait to watch him again. Like, I wonder where he's gonna land. Like, what card? They gotta
Yeah,
put him in
whatever.
like a really good card. Like, awesome debut. Like, I bet ESPN's hella happy.
Yeah, they might even put him on a big ESPN card or a International Fight Week if there's a drop, a last minute dropout, or I'm sure he's gonna. I hope he was gonna want to get in there because there's some guys who want to take time, and even though they probably should make the most of it, I hope he's one of those guys that makes the most of it. But moving on, let's get into the main event: Dos Anjos versus Lee. Did we both go Lee on this? I know you went Lee. Yeah,
Yeah,
I went Lee too. Yeah, we did.
yeah. You know what? Honestly, I didn't finish the fight. I couldn't finish it. I was so sad for him. No, I could not finish it, man.
It wasn't a bad fight. I mean, it's not like he
It
was totally getting mauled.
No, but it's like, what happened to your cardio? What happened to your gas tank? Like, I thought it was going to be a better performance, at least in that aspect, because he didn't have to cut that much weight. But it looked rough for him, man. I don't know what's next for him. Like, what's going on in that gym where he's like gassing out like that?
I've heard, speaking of the gym, I've heard people say that some people think that he's taken because Robert Follis was his coach. He's a coach. He killed himself like a year ago. It was like a big thing in the community. It was a tragic, untimely death of his. And some people think that he kind of regarded him as like a father figure, so like it kind of impacted him, and he hasn't really got over it. And that's possible, but I don't want to say this because I am a Kevin Lee fan, but let's be honest here. I mean, I kind of just think he may be a front runner. But if you look at the guys he's lost to, it's not like he's never gotten dominated. He's never been in a fight where from round 1 to round 5 or to round 3, he's just been getting outpointed. He always starts good. He always starts strong, and then he just fades off. I think he may have like that BJ Penn, Vitor Belfort type complex. He's a good 1 or 2 round fighter, but when shit gets tough, he's just not that great.
Yeah, I was hoping that he would get this win. It's so tough to watch, man, because I just had like hopes for him. Just get this win and turn this around. And so yeah, I was sad. I could not watch it. I'm sorry. I could not finish it.
Well, I was happy for Dos Anjos. I like Dos Anjos, and he'd been on like a 2 fight losing streak. So,
Yeah.
and then what was it, Usman and Covington? I know the Covington one hurt. The
Yeah.
Usman one, I mean, it's the champ, and well, what are you gonna do? That's what that dude does.
Yeah.
But
I just figured it's Lee's time and here we go. This is his division. This is where he belongs, but I don't know, man. Hopefully, I don't know, his next fight he'll get it done, but it would have been great to see him, fight RDA, beat him, former champion, and just be at the top because he is talented. So it's just I hate these setbacks for him.
yeah, for sure, he is talented. It's just I think he's got to figure something out. He's a good athlete, man, and especially at this weight class, he shouldn't have too much trouble. There's something going on with him. Being a front runner, I kind of want to say that in quotes because that's just my assumption. We don't know that for sure. It's just kind of what it looks like, but that's not something that you can't take away. I mean, you got to do a lot of self reflection, a lot of introspection, but it can be dealt with. If that is his case, if it's a mental thing, he can get over it. It's just a matter of how and to really look into it. Yeah, but good for RDA. Just one last thing on Lee though. Do you think he'll stay at welterweight? Because I mean, I guess you could say, oh well, I lost. It doesn't work for me. I should go back down. But he's also not getting younger. I don't know how much more he could do that weight cut.
I don't know, man. 155 is tough. I don't know. I mean, he's 26. He's still young, but that weight cut and then just 155 is just it's congested, man. There's so much going on.
Well, look at Poirier. Poirier's what, 30, 31, and he went up after he lost to Connor, which was 2014. So yeah, it's been so like at 25, 25, 26, Poirier went up,
Yeah.
and look how good he's been doing. So I mean, I know it's not exactly apples to apples, but I don't think there's a time of like too young. I mean, I think honestly, fighters should probably start moving up once they're like 22, 23. And then once you start getting to your prime, 27, 28, 29, then maybe think about moving up again. Just like Poirier said, like, I'm getting kind of big in for 155. Maybe I might go to welterweight.
Yeah. Man, 170, bunch of killers in 170 though. So I hope he like figures it out soon.
Yeah, yeah, we're both Lee fans here, so that would be nice.
Hmm.
One more thing to, I guess, kind of recap. We didn't really talk about it last week, but kind of went viral. This knockout of Sage Northcutt by Cosmos Alexander. Man, I mean, you know who Cosmos was, right, Rain?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy that they allowed this fight to go down. But what can you do?
You
You know,
sound like
they
Brendan Schaub.
come on,
He was
man.
like so upset, like who's his manager and how can they allow this? And Sage's career's over, and he gets all hyperbolic and shit.
It's just Sage is 23. He's still young, and to take this fight, and Cosmos almost
But
had what 100 fights, dude, in comparison to what Sage has done. I mean, come on, yeah, I get it. He's done like the karate and whatnot, point fighting, but man, I just didn't get it. I guess if you just look at like the MMA fights on paper, you're like, oh, okay, yeah. And then who's this guy? If you're a casual, it's like, oh yeah, Sage got this. But if you don't know who Cosmo is, and it's like, dude, why would you do this to Sage? Like, I thought you were trying to make this kid like a star at ONE FC, but I guess not.
you know what? I people were Brendan Schaub was one of them. They were saying like, I want to see what he's doing. I thought this was gonna be like your golden goose or whatever. Like you brought this kid to be a star. It's like I really don't think that ONE FC is built on making American stars. Remember, they brought Ben Askren years ago. He was like one of the few Americans they had, and he was probably the most well known and highly regarded American fighter they had, and they never gave a shit. And even he said that I think they brought me on because of the way I am. I'm like the brash American, and they know that I'm going to talk shit and I'm going to antagonize the Asian fighters, and they want someone to root against. Now, Sage is a very nice kid, obviously. Even his trash talking with like Mickey Gall and shit was hilarious. He's not that guy, but I think they look at him like, whoa, he's a pretty blonde white boy with a lot of muscles, and he's like the prototypical white American, I guess. And not that they wanted people to root against him, but I guess if some of their fighters beat him, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I don't think they got mad about Eddie Alvarez losing either. Now he lost to a Russian dude, but I think since he's been with them for a while, they're like, well, yeah, see, our fighters are legit. It is. I don't think it's a thing of like they want to build off of the UFC. I think they may want UFC's fighters to build their guys off of. Like I think if DJ would have lost his fight, I don't think they would have been that upset either.
Yeah, I had those thoughts too because I mean, he's not Asian. He's not one of their own, right? And then perception's everything with especially Asians, Japanese people, whatever. Like it's great for them to beat these UFC fighters and to say, hey, we're in the game too. Look at us. We're beating all your like big fighters.
And to be fair, not saying that like Cosmos is well known or he's a bigger star than Sage but just practically speaking, there's a lot of utilization there because he's a Muay Thai guy, so
Mm-hmm.
they can bring him into their Muay Thai fights, their tournaments. Whereas Sage, I mean, I don't think they're gonna start doing karate tournaments anytime soon. It's like, hey, this is the guy that beat Sage. They could use that in MMA and they could use it in Muay Thai or kickboxing.
Yeah. So I mean, I was looking at it from like both angles. Like, yeah, they could have used him, maybe use him as a star, whatever. Because didn't he do like a game or something? Didn't he like just star in a movie? They did like the Street Fighter thing, right?
Yeah, he was supposed to be Ken. Now I don't know if that was a commercial, if that was an actual movie, a TV show, but yeah, he was supposed to be Ken in Street Fighter, some kind of
Okay.
adaptation.
Okay. So I thought they were gonna use his little star power or whatever he has, and just build him up. But looking at it from like an Asian like business perspective, it's like fuck yeah, we use this kid, you know.
Yeah, you know about that.
Yeah, so it's like I said, perception is everything. So it's like haha, yeah, man. Just because UFC's been there, they're the top of the game. No, no, no. We got good fighters too.
Yeah, exactly. They've been fighting for credibility for a while. So, yeah, I think they're going to use more of the American or Western fighters or well known fighters to make a point more than that. Oh, yeah, we got this guy. Like, he's not, they're not Scott Coker. You know, that's what Scott Coker does. Like, go off of all their past achievements. You
Yeah,
know, even like in Bellator, maybe they scowl at him when they get to the back. But if you listen to like the commentators, they you can hear him say, "Oh, well, in his UFC fight against so and so," like they're not the ones like, "Oh, don't name them, name them." You know, like I think they're perfectly fine with getting like nostalgia. Why do you think they sign um Chael and Machida and Rampage? Is like, oh yeah, these are the UFC fighters from 10 years ago. Remember, these are the guys that you grew up watching, you know, when you were younger. So I don't think one's going for that at all.
yeah. And then just the whole like they fought at 185, right?
Uh,
Supposedly.
who?
Cosmo and
Oh,
Sage.
don't ask me about that. I don't pay attention to that shit, man. Especially with, I mean, like we had Ant on the show a few weeks ago. I think he had mentioned that, and I've heard him talk about that at length. But there's no weight cuts, no
Yeah,
weight division. I don't know what. I just like them for their fights. I watch them very much. Like I love Muay Thai. I love Glory.
yeah.
But I'm not watching it because it's well sanctioned and there's no
No,
drug abuse and there's no steroids and there's no like no, I just want to watch people kick the shit out of each other and
yeah.
that's basically what I watch one for.
Yeah, and that's the part that sucks. Like Sage probably did do like the weight cut, and because he's such a nice guy and he's young and he
Gullible
believes what
American,
people. Yeah, he believes what people will tell him, and so it just sucks for him. Hopefully,
he
he
marked
he, he
out.
learned a little from this too. That nobody gives a shit. You gotta like look out for yourself. There's some assholes out there. So you
Don't
gotta,
trust them Asians, right?
dude, for real, man. Especially Asians, man, because like I said, it's all about perception and they'll use anybody.
Learn while you're young.
Yep. So yeah, hope he's gonna be out for at least 2 years, I think.
It's gonna be a while.
Yeah, like fractures in his face. Eight?
Was it 30? I read something 30. Like it kept going up. It seems like a terrorist attack. Like, oh, 8 people dead. Now it's 20. Now it's 50.
Oh, I know. It was 8 fractures, and I think I heard like Uriah Faber say like 30 pieces. His face was like completely shattered. So he's gonna be out for a while. So hopefully, he'll grow up a little bit and maybe go to a better camp. I don't know. Maybe not have his father as a coach if he wants to continue doing this, because he could just go back to school or be a movie star or a model or something. Like fuck getting your face smashed. There's nothing you can do after that. At least you can put like a metal plate or something in your knee, or you know fix your shoulder or something. But your face, especially when you're cute like that, you're good looking, like you can do something with that and not get hurt.
I'm never gonna get pussy now.
like, like it's not like, man, having a droopy face because your face got fucked up into pieces. Like, man, no, maybe rethink this whole fighting game. You're still young. Hopefully, they fixed you up enough to where your face is back to normal, because some people don't recover very well from that.
Looking at you, Rory McDonald.
So yeah, man, like, dude, what I think. Yeah, you told me he got knocked out. I looked at it, I was like, holy shit, he died. Because he didn't get up.
Yeah, did you see some of the comments that Cosmo made that like he felt really bad seeing like little by little, like, oh man. He said like when I knocked him out, I knew I hit him hard, but it's like I knew something was wrong as he turned around. I saw his face swelled up right away. That doesn't happen. That doesn't usually happen, you know?
Oh shit, no, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, and then he said that I think they took him out on a stretcher, and then the Instagram thing of, oh yeah, I just got my face broken, haha,
Damn, dude.
So
Crazy. Well, I'm glad like
Cosmo,
they gave him really good drugs and he was cracking jokes.
yeah,
So
Cosmo went full jihad on fucking Sage, man,
Jesus, man.
on his face.
Wow, it's crazy, man. Want to see?
Yep. um, we're speaking of legends of all the Bellator fighters. Well, he's not a Bellator guy, but he is one of the legends of years past. Rashad's going to get inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. They had announced on the Rochester card. What do you think about this? I mean, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised. He's been tight with the UFC for a while. He's part of the ESPN gang. But I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of surprised. I guess because when I started watching MMA, he was like the villain. He was like the guy that everybody hated. I kind of think that everyone had that idea of him, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does seem like everyone kind of loves him now.
I got emotional watching it, but looking at Twitter, it's like people were like complaining, like why him?
I know a lot of people would complain around that time because that was post Chuck Liddell. For some people, there's people who go in and out of the sport, and I know there's a good amount of people who they know Chuck Liddell. I mean, the dude's a legend, and they know John Jones because he's been killing it for years now. But there was that 3 year, 4 year gap where nobody could retain the title. To me, I loved it because it's like, damn, this goes to show how good these guys are. One guy gets it and the other guy snatches it. It's just gonna keep going. And then John Jones came and brought some order to the division. But I mean, that was a crazy time, man. I enjoyed it. That's when I first got into the sport. So it's kind of, especially like heavyweight. That was a division that got me into it. So
Yeah.
Rashad has a deep, a special place in my heart. But I don't know. I always think about the noobs. Like, I don't wonder, do they even really know? Especially if they've seen him get knocked out by like Anthony Smith and some Glover and shit. Like some of his bad knockouts, they're just gonna think he's like some can.
Yeah, I think I saw a tweet too. Somebody said like, did he die or something? Like I'm like, why are they doing this now?
I
I
mean,
watched it.
yeah,
I got emotional when they like announced it. I was like, oh shit, because I like Rashad. I love Rashad. He's like big brother to everybody. So
he still is responsible for the worst fight in MMA history in my mind. His fight with Lil Nog. I will never forgive him for that shit.
God, but I mean, I guess I mean, who else would you put in?
I don't think they've announced anybody else as of yet, right? I think oh
No,
no, was it
what?
Bisping? Bisping got announced, no? Or was
Oh
that
yeah, did
last?
wait? Did they do that when they went the Darren Till
The
fight
Terran Till
and
fight, I think, yeah.
Masvidal, right? So him. So it's Bisping and Rashad.
That's cool. The Tufts, the second season Tough winner and the third season Tough winner. Maybe that has to do with it. Like the first seasons of Tough, you know?
So maybe that's the angle that. But I'm okay with it, man. It's just yeah. I mean, why complain, dude? Like, come on now.
Yeah.
People
Yep.
get
Same
haters
here.
everywhere, man.
Okay. All right. So that was last weekend stuff. We're gonna get into some headlines. So Tyron Woodley pulled out of his fight with Robbie Lawler. I guess he's had a nagging hand injury. I seen his reason. I hadn't really kept up with it, but I read it before we went on air, and I'm not mad at him. I know he pulls out a lot, and Dana hates him because he never fights and all that shit. But I mean, I thought he had a really good point. He went into the Usman fight slightly compromised, or who knows, maybe severely compromised, and he just said, "I'm not going to risk it. I'm not in a point in my career where I'm just going to fight to fight. I need to make sure I'm in good health and take care of my hand because that's how I make my money." And that fight, to add on to it, has now been, I guess, canceled because they never gave Lawler an opponent. And the main event of UFC Minneapolis is now Ngannou and JDS. So, what do you think about his reasoning, Reen, of him pulling out and the Ngannou JDS new
Dude,
headliner fight?
I'm not mad at it, man. You gotta take care of yourself. If your hand's still hurting from the Darren Till fight, yeah, get that shit fixed. Because this fight didn't make sense. Him and Robbie, like, why? He
And then
beat
remember,
Robbie. He knocked him out.
I'm sure he's broken it before, but I remember after he fought Maya. Oh, you remember we were there. when he fought Maya at 214, that's what he said months and years later, that like part of the reason why that fight was so boring and he stopped attacking is because he broke his right hand and he didn't want to hit him too much with it, so he kind of just ended up staying away.
Yeah, so like if it's been nagging for that long, like just yeah, good for you. I'm glad he pulled out. I didn't want to see this fight. It doesn't make sense at all. The way he finished Robbie, it just didn't make sense for him.
Yeah, you can't beat him any better than that, right? I mean,
Right.
unless you knock him out in 10 seconds.
Yeah, so what does it do for you, and your legacy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it puts a mark on him again for pulling out. Fucking Dana White was probably going to talk shit about him. Who knows? But at least he gave them enough time to figure out what the next move would be for Robbie. Robbie was offered all these different opponents. Robbie said, fuck that too. He wants a
Yeah.
better opportunity. So hey, man, cool. That's
Yeah.
understandable. You gotta take care
Yeah.
of yourself.
I know he's youthful looking, but you got to remember he's what 37, 38. I
Dude,
mean, he's not young. And then Robbie too, he's up there too. So what's the point? It kind of made sense. I at least get it from Robbie's perspective. Hey, I want to take that one back. That dude knocked me out in 2 minutes, and I never even hit him.
yeah.
But for I don't understand why Woodley took it, but he's gonna pull out. Hopefully they give him a good fight. Hopefully you're never going to be 100% healthy. The sport just goes that way, but we'll see. I'm interested to see. I really wanted Luke to fight Woodley. I thought they would rebook him, but who knows? Woodley, Lawler's probably also at that point. Like, I don't want to fight this young kid who might beat me and who's going to build his name off me. I'd rather get some money fights or something.
Yeah, something that makes sense in the long run because no point, man. Mm-mm.
What about Ngannou JDS? Seems like some people are mad they took it off the stacked 239 card. To me, it doesn't seem to make much of a difference because that card's stacked. I mean, the main and co-main are good enough with me. I don't
Yeah,
see any reason to. I mean, if you want to add more fights, it's cool, but I don't see the big deal in replacing it.
I don't either. I'm not gonna miss it. It's already stat. What? Man, stop fucking complaining.
I think it's. I want to say it's just the atmosphere right now with this ESPN Plus shit. Everyone's just complaining about the pay per views. Oh, the pay per views aren't good. They're just throwing on random fights in there. What reason do I have to pay for this shit? So I think they want every pay per view to be a blockbuster, But
I can't do that,
hey,
man.
shit happens. Shit happens.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, be happy that it's getting spread out. We're having like all these better fights. I mean, especially with this one. I'm glad the Woodley fight, and the Lawler fight is off. We have a better fight to look forward to now. Be happy, man.
Yeah, I'm not complaining, but yeah, those are some issues that people had, so I figured I'd bring them up.
Fucking pussies, man. I'm sorry. I was
All
trying
right.
to behave. Sorry, but man, I just gotta tell it how it is. Like, come on now, just enjoy it. Enjoy what we got.
Hey, I'm not gonna censor you. You know me. But let's get into some matchups. We got some fight announcements. And one of the ones, I already know what you're going to say, Reen, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Alexandra Pantoja is going to fight Davison Figueiredo at UFC 240. Nonsensical fight because there is no division, but as far as the fight goes, I like it. I think it'll be exciting. So aside from not caring, what is their opinion on this?
That's cool. I like it. But I didn't even know that there's only, what, 13
Yeah,
fighters?
everyone that's in the top quote unquote top 15 is basically all the UFC flyweights because there's just not enough to go around. So that's all that's left. If
Holy
you're in the
shit.
top 15, it's because you have a job.
Holy shit. So, looking at it and thinking about that, it's like, oh my God. So, who's going to be cut next? Is the whole division going to be cut next? I,
Yeah.
I don't get it, man. So, what's the point of even really performing? To maybe get another employer after the division is done and over with?
I mean, Ryzen and One are always out there.
Yeah, true, but do you want to go to one? Do you want to fuck with the Horizon? Like, it's crazy, man. I don't know if some of these people can go to Combate, but they don't speak Spanish.
Combate has some flyweights. I mean, I don't know about the money,
Yeah.
but the Combate definitely has the smaller fighters because us Hispanic people tend to be of the shorter variety. But
I guess there's Bellator. So I guess some
I
of
don't
these
know. I
guys
don't. I don't
can
think they have a flyweight. I
no
mean, unless they want to go up, yeah. Unless they want to go up,
135. Yeah, what
yeah,
if some of these guys can move to 135? But man, 135 is stacked too. So man, that sucks, man. I hate it. It's another fight that it really doesn't make sense. I'll watch it. I love watching flyweights. It's just that it just sucks to invest something, invest in this, and you only got 13 total flyweight fighters now.
yeah,
It's sad. It's so sad, man.
yeah. Well, another fight we should get excited about because, as we keep saying every week, the UFC 241 is adding some fights, and one of them is Corey Sandhagen versus Rafael Sunsao. Also on another note, I seen on Honda Center's website that it looks like tickets are going to go on sale June 15th. So if you don't already know, if you want to jot that down, go ahead. June 15th, tickets should be on sale. I'm already saving up my money, and hopefully Rena and I get to do something over there. But what do you think about the fight?
Holy shit, my fucking face hurts from smiling so much. I'm like, damn. I'm excited for this. I mean, before I was like, I thought it was too soon for him to fight somebody like, Cody fighting some, I mean, Corey. Why am I saying Cody? Sanhagen to fight somebody like Lineker, but damn, okay, I'll watch this.
This really might be the hardest fight in the division for Sanhagen too, aside from Moraes and Cejudo, the guys that are going to fight for the title. But aside from those guys, because yeah, Garbrandt's on a losing streak, but even if you look at the other top five guys, Munoz, Aljamain, Rivera, all the Jan, those guys are aggressive. And as we've seen with the Lineker fight, he can fight aggressive. Assunção is the smartest veteran in the game, maybe. He doesn't make irrational decisions. He doesn't make stupid mistakes. He can fight boring if he needs to, and that's kind of what he enjoys. And for a young kid like that, it's like, can you do the right things to win? Because especially, with some of the younger fighters, it's like, I just want to make it a war. Well, if you try to make it a war with the Sun Sal, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
It never works out. Even Moraes, who's a genius, had to find other ways to go about it.
Man, I can't wait. I wonder what's going to happen, man. Talk about, like, technical, like, you're going to be seeing all kinds of shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I know that's one of the fights that I'm gonna be on the edge of my seat for sure.
Right. Like, don't go to the bathroom. Fucking get your snacks. Don't turn away. You gotta watch this.
Yeah, because even if a Sun Sal just jabs and leg kicks, even if he just is the most boring, he just does the most boring shit ever, it's just gonna be cool to see, or just maybe not cool is not the word, but it's just gonna be interesting to see how Sanhagen responds to it. Because he's shown in the Lineker fight that he could be technical and disciplined, but this is the most technical and disciplined guy in the division. Like, you really got to step your game up.
Right. So yeah.
And I don't know if there's two fighters in MMA that are as polar opposites to go from this fight to this fight. Like, you got pure bloody violence on one spectrum and just samurai calmness on the other.
Right. So for him to get Lineker and then this, damn. They got high hopes for him.
And if he can look impressive, if he can 30-27 him or knock him out or, sub him, like, damn, like, you can do it all. You might be a champion, like, right now,
Right, exactly. Because let's see. Corey's number 8. Rafael's number 2? So, yeah.
Possibly.
Moving on up.
Yep.
With the quickness.
Yep, no time to waste, apparently.
Nope.
And another girl with no time to waste is apparently Vivian Araujo. I don't know if it's Araujo or Araujo. My Mexican side wants to say Araujo, but regardless, she's the chick that knocked out Talita Bernardo at UFC 237, which I don't know if we gave her a shout out on that episode, but if you guys haven't seen it or we didn't give a shout out, my apologies. That was a spectacular knockout. She was a strawweight who went up to bantamweight, knocked the chick out after beating the shit out of her for 3 rounds. And now she's moving to flyweight, which I think is an excellent move, and she's going to fight Alexis Davis. Very similar to the Sanhagen Sunsao fight. She's a young, promising girl who's going to fight one of the smartest veterans in the division. So this one's going to be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, I can't wait for this one too. Dude.
And this is happening in UFC 240 too, which is taking place in Canada, Alexis Davis's home country. So it'll be interesting with that too.
Good move for her, man. Because strawweight, there's lots going on. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
might come back. Who knows? I mean, Joanna's lurking. Michelle Watterson,
Yeah, and that's
who she's being represented by might get there's so much going on, man. Flyweight is open.
Yeah, and I mean the title fights in a few weeks. Jessica Ai and Shevchenko is in a few weeks. So after that fight gets out of the way, they're already going to be looking for contenders, and that fight's a few weeks after. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's a month after that pay-per-view. So I'm not
Hmm.
saying she's gonna get a title fight off of 1 or 2 wins, but they're definitely gonna be looking at her, because they're already gonna be looking down the line to see who's next.
Yeah. I mean,
And
rankings don't mean shit. I get it. But when you're looking at this, like, it does matter. So if
yeah,
she knocks off Alexis Davis, which is ranked number 7, she's going to be already up there. And then ahead of that, ahead of her is like Joanne Calderon, Roxanne Modafferi. I don't know why Joanna's still there, but she's there. Liz Carmouche. Liz and Roxanne are going to fight. So there's
yeah,
a lot of movement going on with the flyweight division.
yeah. Especially in a new division, we got to remember, like, with what is her name with Ioana. Well, after she got the belt, her first title defense was against Jessica Penne. And that was basically because she was just there. Her second title defense was against Valerie Letourneau. It's just like, hey, you got a few wins there, go in there. Maybe that's a bad move, when you're young, but hey, if you get the payday and you get the exposure, that definitely is worth something.
Yep, yep, yep. So, dude, I love this flyweight division, man. I'm so glad they
Yeah,
got this going on.
I'm just glad you say it. I mean, I know we've been on the same page for that, but it's good to hear anybody say that, because you go on fucking Twitter and it seems like everyone, oh fuck, this division is so lame, it's so shallow, and it's like, you guys really don't know what you're talking about. You don't even see the talent that's here.
Right. Come, fucking assholes, casuals. You have no idea, man.
I really think it's just people who are sick of women's MMA, and it's like, oh fuck it, we don't need another one. And I barely know these girls anyway, but there's so much talent there. It may be as talented, if not more talented, than strawweight, like
Yeah,
legitimately.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, come on. Mm-mm. Some of those girls' fights are like more excited than the guys.
Well, look at Ladd and Eubanks.
Yeah, so like, come on, man. Don't be hating, man.
One last fight announcement. We usually don't talk Greg Hardy on the show because we got better things to do with our life. But he's gonna fight a dude that we've been talking about on the show for weeks now, months now. Juan Adams, the guy who's, I guess, well, I wouldn't say he started, but he's definitely making the hashtag fuck Greg Hardy famous. And yeah, that looks to be in place for UFC on ESPN 4 in San Antonio. I mean, I already know you're going Juan Adams, as am I.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way that Juan Adams didn't look that great in his fight. And I think that's the only reason they got booked, because they're not going to give Greg Hardy a fight against, if had he knocked that dude out in like 16 seconds, they wouldn't have booked this fight. They wanted someone to look not that impressive.
Oh yeah, they're protecting him. They know what they're doing with that guy. So, but man, I'm gonna be praying. I'm gonna be dancing. I'm gonna be like throwing salt everywhere, like making sure there's
Oh,
no
yeah.
bug ever. Like I'd be like, please fuck this dude up for everybody. Fuck Greg Hardy up, please. Do
For
it for
those that did, for those that didn't get that reference, apparently there's a Japanese superstition where if you throw salt, it's good luck. So don't think that Reen is, you know, that's the reason she's doing it. It's her cultural thing.
yeah. No man, shit. He'll be man. He's gotta do it for everybody, all of us fans. He's gonna have to go in there and beat the shit out of him,
I guess this is the one time I won't be that upset if it's the co-main event, but
right? Right?
hopefully not. Hopefully not. But whatever. If Juan Adams wins, all is forgiven.
Yep.
But that'll be awesome for him. Um, One last MMA thing. We're gonna get into the tweet of the week. I want to thank you, Reen, because of your interaction. I saw this one because I hadn't paid much attention to Twitter this week, and it goes to none other than Dana White, who posted a meme, and it just says, "I'm this old," and it says, "Remember using a knife or spoon to pry the lid open," and it's an old can of Quick, not Nesquik, Quick, or as the Mexicans call it, Quick. And I found it so funny because I was just saying a few days ago to a friend of mine, like, man, I'm really craving some Quick right now. And yeah, for you youngsters out there, drinking Nesquik with the plastic lid, making life all easy for you. This shit was like straight out of World War II. You needed a knife or spoon just to open it. But it just brought back some good memories. So Dana gets tweet of the week.
Huh. It was sketch trying to open that shit with the fucking knife, man. You will stab yourself. That's why I'm like spoon, but the spoon would fucking bend if you don't do it right. So you gotta like, you know, you used to have spoon right, pop it here, pop it there, then you finally open it. Dude, I used to eat it. So when I finally open it, it's like, all right, let me take a spoonful real quick before I put it in my milk.
Yeah, you either like caviar, just get a spoonful and
Yup.
stuff that shit in your mouth. Yep, I used to
That's
do that too.
that shit is so funny. Yeah, in a can, man. Yup.
Yeah, gangster,
Yup.
gangster.
Kids don't know.
Yeah, that's why America's all pussified now because everything comes in plastic containers.
Oh man. That shit's funny. That fucking rusty ass can too. If it like sat too long too, yeah, it got a little rusty. It got a little rough. But I remember
And then
using that can too to like put my like coins in there and shit.
and then when you grow up, you put weed in there.
Yup. Yep. Kids don't know, man.
See, my
Yeah.
generation used the Altoid boxes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Went down memory lane.
hmm But that does it for MMA this week. So we're gonna go on to our news story of the week. And our news story is the headline is guy who blew $4,000 lowering his car is demanding his town pay because he can't drive over speed bumps to get to work. And if you guys are wondering how far did he lower his car, well, first of all, it's a Volkswagen Passat. So it's not like he's got some tricked out ass ride. It's Volkswagen Passat, and he lowered it to 4 inches off the floor. And his village, Limerick, Ireland, has installed 6-inch high speed bumps. So he got his shit fucked up. He claims around $2,500 worth of damage to his car, and he wants the city to pay for it.
This little bitch, man. I saw the picture of his car. I'm like, oh yeah, you're an idiot. Like for real, it's a Passat. Why are you lowering a goddamn Passat?
Got to
Isn't
do
that
it for.
like a granny car or some shit? That's like a little family car, man. If you're gonna like try to trick it out, at least like put like cool ass like lights or something, like a new grill or something. You know, like a side skirt, something like that. But lowering it that much? Come on, man. And I don't know what's going on with Ireland's like the street system or whatever, but we got issues up here. There's potholes and shit everywhere. So people know not to like lower it that much. We got speed bumps. We know what the hell's going on. We don't lower it that much.
We have shitty infrastructure in America in general, but as someone in California, I mean, it's same down here. So Northern California, Southern California, it just seems to be a thing because our government's so great. But that's beside the point. Yeah, this fucking guy with the lowering of the car. I mean, it looks to be just a stock car. It
It,
seems like
it,
the only thing he's done to it is lower it. It seems like a weird first step.
it is, right? He wanted to do it to make it look fresh. What the fuck?
Oh
It's a
yeah, that is a
Passat.
quote. That is a quote, by the way. "Quote unquote, look fresh."
Yeah, it's a fucking Passat. Come on, man.
Hey,
Really?
you got to get the bitches somehow.
God damn it, man. You're an idiot.
You know, you know what would have been funny if he's like strolling down the street. He didn't know. He's like strolling down the street, and some girl's passing by. He's like checking her out, trying to holler at her, and he goes over the speed bump, and his fucking rack and pinion or his fucking transmission just falls to the floor and shit.
Dude, seriously. So he feels discriminated against because this is what he said. Because I'm driving a modified car. It's lower, so it's 4 inches off the road, and I'm being denied my right to drive on these roads. You had a right not to fucking do that shit too, though, and spend all that fucking money.
Reen, this is where you say your tagline here about his discrimination.
What? Fucking white people.
There you go. Yeah, because he is not discrimination in any sense wouldn't have made sense here, but yeah, at least a black person has been discriminated against their whole lives for the most part. This guy, I'm sure, has not had much discrimination.
Oh my god, man. It's just crazy to me. A girl that's had a modified car, a girl that's lowered her car, on, knowing the shitty streets we've had in California. Yeah, I kept that in mind. And then I didn't lower it that much. I had a Mitsubishi Evo MR 2007. Y'all look it up. My shit was hot. I used to race that shit. When I see this kind of fucking bullshit, I'm like, you fucking little bitch. Go cry somewhere else, man. Get the fuck out of here with your fucking granny car, you Passat.
I know this is in Europe. I know this isn't someone that I'm gonna run into or anything, but it just also made me laugh because I'm not much into cars, so it's funny that to me it's just kind of like that's what you get. But with you, it's like all right, you were into cars, and even this is a dumb thing. But yeah, there's plenty of people that race like half a mile from my house, and I hear them at night sometimes, and I
Yeah,
almost got caught up because cops know that they're here. I was driving down the street once, not knowing that they were there, and yeah, I almost got caught up with their bullshit. So I'm no fan of racers, but just to do this, it made me laugh and put a smile on my face.
crazy, man. I mean, I was that girl that had separate tires for rain season. I had like black rims. I had my silver rims. Like I was all into that shit. So I
Damn,
know
you were like that Asian chick in Too Fast and Furious with the pink car.
pretty much like my grill was all changed out. Everything was modified. I went and got it dynoed just to see how much horsepower I had because of all the mods that I did. I didn't just fucking lower it, man. So yeah, I messed with the engine too. So
It's like a woman. You gotta take time to know it. You gotta,
no, man, you just don't go and fucking lower it.
you don't go pedal to the metal.
Come on, man. Think, man.
You gotta
Fucking kids.
you gotta analyze it a little bit.
Right? Mm-mm.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll put a link to this in the show post so you guys can see it. What a dumbass this dude was. But yeah, it's gonna be it for this week. Bit of a shorter episode, with no UFC and no guest host and no real things going on. Figured we'd give you guys a more expedited version. But either way, I want to thank you guys for joining us. You can find us wherever podcasts are: iTunes, Spreaker, Spotify. You guys know where we're at. Check us out. And Reen, let them know where you're at.
Oh, I was about to say ours. I've been messing with it like all day today. Fox with you at Instagram and Twitter. So yeah, if you want to follow me, let me know. I know I have like my Instagram like kind of locked down right now, but yeah, I'm back on it. I started like posting some shit today, so hit me up.
All right. And I'm at juice_MMA on Twitter and Instagram. And as Reen was about to say, you can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at iFoxWithJuice. You can follow my blog at juicemma.com. I haven't written as much as I liked lately, but I will get on it, I promise, because someone here is going to hold me to it. So I want to thank my co-host for that. And I want to thank her for joining me. And I want to thank you guys for joining us one last time. Thanks again. And we'll catch you all next week. Later.
See ya.